What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Live Button Podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Dad the Gamer, and we're going to be talking about the one, the only follow for follow, support for support. This is an episode that I think we've wanted to get into for a long time, and it happens all the time, and it's always shrouded in this mist of like, me and these other streamers are going to build you up, and we're going to take you to the top with us. Newsflash, no, they're not. They are not going to do that. They are going to use you as a number metric, and they are going to boost themselves up. I think follow for follow is nothing short of a pyramid scheme. It only benefits the people at the top or the person at the top, and it's a hot mess that a lot of people can get caught in, especially new streamers or new content creators in the game. So, Dad, I know you have some experience with follow for follow because I know at the very, very beginning, you may or may not have been one of those streamers that did some of that thing, and I was too. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about it, man.
I think most people kind of get trapped into. I mean, look, you know, when you're first starting out, you're trying to learn, you're trying to figure stuff out, right? So when I made the decision to not necessarily like become a content creator, streamer, when I just made the decision, hey, you know what, I kind of want to grow my Twitch out. I was like 3 followers, it was like me, maybe my bot account, and I don't know, some probably random person, right?
Nightbot, dude.
Nightbot, yeah. So I did what most people did, and I don't know, I went on Facebook, and there was Facebook groups, follow for follow, right? And so I went on there, and whatever, you post your link, right, and you get up to 20 followers, 30 followers. But first and foremost, let's be clear about something. Twitch itself explicitly says that it's fake engagement. Follow for follow is fake engagement. Yep. So I think most people understand. I mean, I kind of understood after getting to like 30 or 40 followers. I was like, okay, like nobody's here, right? Like just yes. I guess I could have 100,000 followers. That doesn't matter. Like I don't care how many followers I have at that point. So it's quickly like, hey, you know what? This doesn't work. So if you're somebody who does follow for follow, or you think follow for follow works, listen, it only works to get you to affiliate level. All right, let's be real. Like, and even then, I would say don't do that, because you're not getting anything out of it. Yep. But past that, once again, Twitch themselves says it's fake engagement. All right, it's against Twitch's terms of service in terms of their whole entire platform. Okay. And then for the support for support is tricky because nobody really wants to use the term support for support anymore, because it's very, it has a negative, it's taboo, right? And has a very negative sound to it. So now what you hear is a networking community. Come join our networking community, and listen, I've never been in anybody's stream where people are not allowed to network, right? I.e., there's streamers talking to each other and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to follow each other, right? There's a very large streamer, and I'm not going to name his name, but I think he might be close to Twitch partner or something like that. He very much, his stream is about quote unquote networking. And I've had people hit me up about it and say, go check him out. Man, I've gotten so many follows off of his stream. Listen, first of all, I don't curse on this episode or on this stream very much, or this podcast very much, but I'm gonna probably curse a little bit on this one. All right, it's bullshit. Okay, the followers that you're gonna get from support for support will not work. All right, it does not translate over. Moreover, support for support, you will not sustain anything past, honestly, a few viewers, because let's be real, the way support for support works is I'm gonna come hang out in your stream, and you're going to come hang out in my stream. Yep. How far can you take that? All right. How far can you take that before it gets too much for you to keep up with, however many people you expect in your stream, 1. And 2, do you have like an Excel spreadsheet pulled up on the side? And you're like, hold on a second. This Twitch user right here came in my stream, so let me go ahead and make sure that I go into their stream. Listen, it's bullshit. All right. I promise you, it is not going to work. I got a lot more to say, but I kind of want your thoughts as well, Pastor.
Yeah, dude. So first off, let's break this down. For anyone who does not know what follow for follow is, it is on any social media platform, on any streaming platform, if you hit the follow button because somebody else hits the follow button, or vice versa, and you do that a bunch of times with a bunch of different people, so then it looks like your follower counts are super, super massive, but your viewer numbers are absolutely horrific. That is what follow for follow is. Now, when I first started this, I blindly and this was 3 years
Like
ago.
most people.
Like, yeah, because it's all about numbers when you're first starting out. You're like, okay, I got to get this number, I got to get this, I got to get that, and
it sounds appealing.
Yeah, and it sounds appealing, and it sounds really, really enticing to have all these people support you and follow you back and all this kind of stuff. So I literally would go down the Instagram and Twitter recommended, like on the side of my profile, and I would just click follow, follow, follow for like probably 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then whoever followed me back, awesome. And eventually what would happen is I would get people to follow me back. And after like 3 weeks, I would go through and unfollow like a massive amount of people to make it look like I had people I wasn't following a ton of people, but a ton of people were following me, which made me look like a really, really awesome human being, right? At least numbers wise. Surprise, still didn't have any numbers, still sucked, still didn't work. Now for support, here is where this is so interesting. First off, networking communities. I almost barfed in the corner because I was laughing so hard. That I've never heard, but it's a very sneaky way of putting things out there. So support for support is only going to take you to affiliate, possibly. And we're going to break this down a little bit because I think there's some misconceptions of support for support, and there's also some definite, like, this is not what you should be doing and not how you should be growing. So if let's say what we'll do a correct way of support for support, it's unintentional. Okay, the correct support for support is unintentional. Meaning this: if I follow Dad the Gamer on Twitch because I enjoy his content, and then he follows me back because he knows who I am through TikTok and wants to come check out my content, that is not support for support. That's two people enjoying each other's content, supporting each other on a deeper level than just like, hey, if you come in this time, I'll come in this time, and black and this, that, and the other. Now, the thing that I've seen before is these people that'll make TikToks of all the different tabs that they have open.
Oh my God, I've seen that too.
Streamers they're supporting.
It's like they have like 97 bots open, and they're like
Lurker
insane.
Stanley, dude. They're like the ultimate Lurker Stan, and they're the 12 tab Andy or the 75 tab Andy or whatever the heck they are. And dude, I want to let you know something. If you're listening to this and you're one of those people, it does not help. I would rather have a chatter in my stream. Now, first off, I love 100%. My lurkers. I love my lurkers. I need to say this right now. I love my lurkers.
Absolutely.
But if you are just tabbing me up with 17 other streamers, I would rather have you just in my stream chatting and having a conversation with me than giving me a hollow number metric to look at and feel good about myself for 3 hours while I stream. It just absolutely it doesn't help the streamers in the long term. And how long are you going to keep that up for? How many people are you going to be able to tab up? How many people are you going to be able to support? And for how, like, the entire time? Like it's not sustainable the bigger you go. And I think that's what people don't understand. Is like they get caught in these webs of like support for support, or like sometimes, and I will say this, stream teams are really bad about this. Stream teams a lot of the time, or network communities or whatever you want to call them, are real bad about like only benefiting the people at the top. It's 100%. Just, it's what I've seen. It's just how things go. And it starts out really, really well. It starts out with like, okay, 3 or 4 streamers come together and their communities have great bleed over and all this kind of stuff. But then what happens is you get the smaller streamers within those communities start trying to be a part of the stream team to boost their numbers. And it starts just becoming a pyramid shape of like, it only benefits the people at the top. It's weird. Dude, it's odd how that happens, right? Weird. Like it's just like is it a pyramid scheme? I think that's the word I'm looking for.
I think that's the word. Yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but you often see people that are involved, or at least have been involved with, and I've made several TikToks on support for support, and people have confirmed this. People have been involved and they've gotten away. One, support for support, it's like a cult, all right? It is like a cult. The people that are in it, they think that they're in the right until they finally leave and they're like, oh man, I just left a cult. All right. And then once again, the only people that are benefiting are the people at the top. And the reason why is because, you know, as soon as they go live, it's like, it's so frustrating. As soon as they go live, everybody in the community is like, oh, we got to go support this person. We got to go support the leader of the cult, aka the leader of the support for support. Right. And you know, God forbid if you don't. And, you know, your reward for supporting them is a potential raid, is a potential for, hey, you know what?
Lottery ticket.
Like, yeah, it's like, oh man, let me get a raid from this person One, we'll get into this in another episode. I know we often like tidbits of like future episodes, but it's because like we can literally talk about this forever. We're trying to keep it 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But raids don't work. All right, I'm just gonna put it out there. Raids don't work. Raids are not. Or you're not going to get a significant amount of growth, or at least what you think. It's not going to solve your problems. Okay, but going back to what we're talking about, your reward for hanging out in these support for supports is a potential big raid. And I'll use an example. I won't name his name, but this guy got blasted a few months back because he was like, "Oh, I'm going to drop my whole community on you." He's on TikTok. He's like, "I'm going to drop my whole community on you." And one, his community was very, very small. And two, this person also put out saying something along the lines of, "I want to become a Twitch partner. In order to do that, I need to help." I think he said like 100 or 1,000 people to become Twitch affiliates. Listen, that's not how this works. All right. Like, it's not a business plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't work that way, you know?
Yeah.
You have to recognize. It's hard to, I don't say it's hard to recognize, because honestly, it's not hard to recognize that you're in a support for support. If you are in a community and some of the community guidelines are, you have to support X, Y, and Z, you have to be in this person's streams, or if there's some kind of like point scale or something like that for like being in other people's streams. Listen, cut ties. All right, get out while you can. It's gonna suck because you're probably gonna lose some viewership, because once again, it's that fake engagement. It's kind of the same thing as you know, are they really there for your content? Are they really there for your stream? If you were not in their stream, would your numbers be that, right? And going back to my original point, you often see people that were in support for support communities. They have a large following count, but their average viewership is low. You know, I've seen people with 10,000 followers and they're averaging less than me, right? I'm sitting at 3,000 followers. I average, you know, give or take 25 to 30 followers a stream right now. And they're averaging 15 to 20, right? Because, you know, you join a support for a support community, all of a sudden you join, it's like, oh, hey, you know what? They're new here. You know, pump up their numbers, right? Help them out.
Let's blow them up.
Let's blow them up, right? And you know, and they finally recognize it and they get out, right? But that's typically why you see balloon follow numbers versus, you know, what the actual viewership is, because, you know, the support for support, once again, it's not scalable. It is not scalable, all right? You cannot keep track of who all came into your stream from the community and say, I will go support them. I will go support them. So it's not possible to support everybody that was in your stream. I mean, realistically, if you think about it, past maybe 10 viewers, 10 viewers is probably where your limit is in terms of, like, you know, over the course of, say, 4 to 5 hour stream, you know, being able to keep track of everybody that came in and say, okay, cool. What are you keeping track of? Like, oh, they've been in for an hour. Let me make sure I go on their stream for an hour. They've been in for 3 hours. No, like, it's just not, it's not feasible. It is not sustainable. And listen, it's not growth. All right. It's fake growth. And until you realize it, it's probably too late in terms of, you know, recovering your follower account. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So we talked about this even before the podcast started. My worst fear as a streamer is to have a follower count on my stream that does not match my viewer count. And what I mean by that is, like, there is a certain percentage of viewers you should have based on your follower count. And I've seen Twitch partners with like 20,000, 40,000 followers on Twitch streaming to 3 to 7 people. Yeah. That to me is insane. Like, that to me just, it for lack of a better term, that to me makes me think you're a bad streamer, because you can't maintain the numbers that you have received over your entire journey to be able to then have at least, I'm sorry, if you have 20,000 followers on Twitch and you don't have at least 35 to 100 people in your stream at all times,
on a consistent basis,
on a consistent basis, there's some shenanigans going on there.
100%.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then going back to, like, follow for follow and getting stuck in it, guys, there was an entire app that was made around follow for follow, and nobody saw it until it was too late. And the people who were partnered within the app were reaping all the glory and all the benefits. Hover was a hot steaming pile of garbage.
Bro, and Hover was unbelievable.
Dude, everyone crapped on me when I made a TikTok about it, saying like how terrible it was. And they were like, I get so much engagement on Hover and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, you get engagement on Hover, but I come to your stream and you have 3 viewers. Like,
Yep.
what do you mean you get so much engagement on Hover? It's not real. The whole premise of Hover was the more people you follow, and granted, until they fixed it, which I still don't think they did, the more people you follow, the more gravity you get, which means it promotes people to follow each other back and forth to get this fake metric of growth. You're not getting any of those Hover numbers coming over, especially now after all this has kind of died down. You're not getting the same Hover numbers coming over to your Twitch as you would at TikTok or as you were YouTube or anything that's sustainable or in longevity wise with your content. It was such a crazy pyramid scheme that people totally bought into. They were like, Hover's this platform for us. It's just only streamers.
Just streamers.
Dude, here's the problem with that. If you are only, and take it from me because the majority of my TikTok audience is other streamers. If you are only promoting your stuff to streamers and streamers are only promoting your stuff to you, when are you going to go watch each other?
Yep.
When are you going to go support? Yeah. When are you going to, you need viewers in your community, not just other streamers. And like I said, I'm in the Twitch tip space. I'm in terms of TikTok, like the majority, I would say, of people who follow me are other streamers or content creators. Not that I don't want them. I'm super, super blessed and happy that I 100%. Have them, but you need viewers to maintain a longevity in your career, or you're just going to die off. And I think that with Hover getting so into the support for support stuff and people just buying into it, that it's no wonder that no one really talks about it anymore, right? Like it's kind of off in this closet that nobody opens anymore. It's like, oh, that's Hover. We don't talk to those people, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to me. So like going back to the follow for follow and the support for support, it all branches back to the most fake engagement and the fact that follower numbers are a vanity metric. The only number in my opinion, and Dad, you can chime in on this as well if you want, but the only number that is of any value to me on Twitch is my concurrent viewer count.
Absolutely.
Because that tells me how healthy my stream is at all times in any given month, year, or day, whatever it may be.
I'm gonna use Morph as an example. He's at 3.8-ish K followers, and you know, he's averaging Twitch partner numbers. There's not a lot of people out there that are averaging, or that, you know, that are at, you know, 3.5 to 4K followers who are averaging 75 viewers a stream, right? That is a very healthy stream. And once again, I've seen plenty of streams where you're like, or streamers who are at 10,000 followers and they're not, you know, they don't have the viewership, because you're 100% right. To me, average viewership is what matters, right? That is what is really what you should pay attention to. And I know it's easy to look at your followers to really gauge kind of, you know, where you're having success at, right? And that's where a lot of people kind of looks at it. But really, it's your average viewership. That's really where you should look at things and say, am I succeeding? Because once again, you know, people probably look at somebody at 10,000 followers and they're like, oh my God, they got it figured it out. They know what they're doing. And they pull up the stream and they have 15 people. And you're like, hold on a second. There's something wrong here. Something is not adding up. Oh, they're in a support community. And, you know, you got to kind of look at the red flags once again and kind of, you know, hold on a second. Is this a support for support? All right. Another red flag I'm going to throw out there. All right. I kind of briefly talked about this, but hey, listen, you can go network in any community, okay? Any community. Just because there's a streamer who says, oh, come network in my community, listen, that's a red flag, okay? I've had plenty of people in my stream where they're like, oh man, hey, you know, I followed you back. I'm not sitting there like, don't follow them. This isn't a networking community. No, like, of course, everyone's just having a good time, enjoying the stream, right? Like nobody's out there saying not to follow each other in other people's community. But for some reason, as soon as somebody labels their stream as a networking community, all of a sudden, like you just have like this flood of people that are like, oh my God, they got a network, you know? It's like, no, just stop and go somewhere else, because it's a red flag. All right. Support for support will not work. It does not work. It's been proven over and over and over again. There's only two people that believe support for support works: the people that are running the show and the people that believe that it works until they realize that it doesn't. As soon as they realize that it doesn't work, then they finally leave and they go off somewhere else. Right. But most people, it takes them a little bit of time to figure that out, and they just get sucked into it. And they spend so much time and effort. That's the thing that pisses me off the most about support for support is they're spending so much time and effort in that nonsense
Yeah.
rather than sitting behind your computer and creating some damn content or perfecting your stream or getting things, improving your brand and your content. That's where you should spend your time. And
Yeah.
I can already see the comments right now. People are like, "Oh, Dad the Gamer and Pastorgainz don't support the people in their community." Listen, listen to me right now. One, I support my community in a lot of different ways, right? The main thing is I've said this multiple times. I am an open book. All right. Anybody that ever wants to have a conversation about content creation, and Pastor can vouch for this too, because he just hit me up randomly on Twitch and said, "Hey," or I'm sorry, TikTok, and said, "Hey, let's have a conversation." All right. Anybody that wants to have a conversation about content creation or questions about, "Hey, how did you do this in your stream?" I am 100% open book. All right, across my community, I have gone my community to help them. So there's a number of different ways that you can support your community. But doing those support for support, that's not the way to do it. And it's infuriating that people fall for it and spend so much time and effort into that versus just saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn editing, or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn this to improve my stream." Another aspect that I want to talk about in terms of support for support, and this is probably going to be a hot take, I think, but
I'm ready. I'm ready for it, dude.
Listen, most streamers that I know that are taking this serious are trying to make money from it. Okay, they're trying to get a revenue, a consistent revenue from it, right?
True.
If somebody comes in your stream and they give 5 subs, and you go run to their stream and give 5 subs, that's a lose-lose.
You didn't make any money.
You didn't make any money. Okay, you didn't make any money. All right, that's a lose-lose situation every single time.
Yep.
And I'm very open with my community. My community knows what I'm about. What I'm here to give a good product, a good show, a good stream. Right. I support the people that I want to support. Right. And but I've seen so many people with kind of ballooned numbers in terms of their subscriber count, but that's because they're running, as soon as somebody gives 1 sub in their stream, they're running to somebody else's stream to gift the same amount of subs. And once again, that's a lose-lose. You're literally losing money doing that, because let's be real, it's $5 per sub. If they gift the sub to them, they spent $5. You're gaining $2.50. Okay. You go run and gift a sub into their channel. All right. You just spent $5, i.e. just lost $2.50, and they get a whole whopping $2.50 back. Listen, that is a lose-lose on both ways. All right. 100%. You're both losing.
Yeah, dude. And I think what's super funny about this whole thing is, like, I mean, obviously follow for follow and support for support is hilarious to me, but you need to come up with a checklist of what makes you click the follow button. Okay. If somebody comes into your stream and follows you and that makes you click the follow button on them, that's a big problem. You need to have some standards as a streamer. Okay. Now let me explain what I mean by this. I only hit the follow button on people that provide me personally value. Okay. If I find that I can learn something from you, that you're teaching me something, that I want to be like you, that I want to mimic the type of content that you make, if any of those apply and you follow me, yes, I am going to hit the follow button because it benefits me. You are providing value for me. That is going, and I'm very intentional with my follows, because that is going to lead me into creating a podcast with Dad the Gamer. Like, that's just how that happened. Is like, I reached out, we had a conversation, it was awesome. A few weeks later, we were like, let's do a podcast. And we were both like, yes. And then this kind of transformed into this. But I really feel like if you can come up with a checklist of how you can protect yourself from these follow for follow, schemes, or the cult of follow for support, and really be kind of stingy with your follow, back towards people or what you follow or who you are following, it's going to overall benefit you in the long run because it's going to allow you to have a very close knit circle of people around you that instead of following the 6,000 people that have followed you on TikTok, you're maybe only following 6 to 7 of them because those are the people that you actually want to engage with. Those are the people you actually want to learn from. I'm a big proprietor, and like if you don't provide me value, and this sounds super selfish and arrogant and kind of douchey, but I'm like, if you do not provide me value, I will not waste my time watching your stuff. It doesn't benefit me. I'm sorry. It does not benefit.
I'm gonna caveat on that. We talked about this a little bit. All right, value means different things. All right,
Yeah.
A lot of people, in terms of when they think of value, are you teaching me something? Right. That's the first part of value. That's that I say step one of value, or
Sure.
half of the value. Right. Can they teach you something? No. Okay. Well, are they entertaining you? Yes. Okay. There's your value. Right. There's plenty of people that aren't in the Twitch tip space. All right, who give value by just being entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Don't necessarily have to sit there and always be this person to give advice. I feel like so many people are out there to like, oh my God, I got to give advice. I got to give advice. No, listen, figure out how to just be, excuse my language, but fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
That you're gonna gain more viewers off of being entertaining than you ever will being, in the Twitch tip space, because there are more viewers on Twitch than there are streamers. All right. Sure. There just are almost 2.5 to 1. So you need to figure out a way to just be, more entertaining than everybody else. And that's going to provide the value that, Pastorgainz is talking about in terms of like being stingy with your follow and say, you know what, that's my value right there. You're entertaining, you're funny, your gameplay is good, whatever the case may be, your edit's good. I want to follow you back.
Yeah, exactly. And it all goes back to keeping yourself out of those communities and recognizing the red flags of that, like recognizing the fact. And I would go as far as to say, when you first start out streaming, you can't recognize it. And I think that's why people get really sucked into it is what you see is the numbers, and you see, hey, there's this awesome community of people that want to help me out. That's what you see. And I'm not going to sit here and condemn those people because it happens to a lot of new streamers and new content creators. And what Dad the Gamer said is the second you realize that, breaking away from that almost takes way more.
It's almost like resetting the button.
Yeah, it's like you almost have to start your streaming career over because you realize that you actually don't have anyone following you. You actually 100%. Don't have any engagement. You restart with maybe the 3 to 5 people that you got in those communities that are there for you. And we've talked about this before, which in other episodes, which is like, if you can get your community to stick around for you and not the game, or not, the shenanigans you do on stream, but just for you as the person, those are the people that are really, really going to stick beside you. And those are kind of some of the people, if they are streamers or if they are other content creators, that you can start leaning on and you can start building a relationship with. And then you naturally, slowly over time, start getting some bleed over, unintentionally, to be honest, from their community and vice versa. Yeah. I have people come in from Dad the Gamer's community all the time and say, hey, you're the other dude on the podcast, or hey, I saw you in Dad the Gamer's stream, I clicked on your name, followed you, and now I'm here, I like your content, and vice versa. He's had people come over and check 100%. Him out from my stream. Like, it just, when it's done well, and it's when it's done in a healthy way that's not scammy and weird, you're gonna do better overall in the long run to just develop genuine relationships.
You talked about being stingy with your follow. I wish I could remember his name right now. He's a good dude, good streamer. But he always says it. Every time somebody raids him, I wish I could remember his name. I'll try to look it up and reference him. But he always says it every time somebody raids him. He says, "Hey, you know what? Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you for coming in." Right. But he always says the same thing, and that's, you know what? I appreciate the follow, but listen, if you're gonna follow and never show up again, just hang out and be here and exit. That's fine. No hard feelings. Because listen, I don't want a bunch of BS follows, right? I don't want, just because somebody comes in with a 100-person raid, listen, don't follow me just because that's the thing to do, okay? Follow me because you're like, yo, you know what? This stream is amazing quality. I like the streamer. I like the gameplay, right? Whatever, right? Follow me for whatever I'm giving some kind of value, right?
Sure.
But that's kind of, should be your goal when you're giving your follow back. Because I think there is a limit on follows on Twitch. I don't know what it is, but there's a limit. There's actually a limit on
of
Twitch.
How many follows you can have?
You can actually have. You can follow only a certain amount of people.
Okay. I thought you meant like the person who was streaming
No,
can
no,
only
no,
have
no.
so many. I was like, that is bad.
Twitch follower.
So there's only an amount of streamers that you can actually follow before Twitch keeps you from hitting the follow button.
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah,
Twitch what we're looking at.
Limit.
Dude, that's interesting. If that's the case, then all you 75 tab Andes are in trouble, because that's not going to work for you.
So apparently it's 2,000 followers. You can only have, I'm sorry, correction. You can only follow 2,000 channels.
Dude, I feel like I can have 2,000 tabs open though. Like I feel like I'll be able to do that and engage and really be a good community member.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, I'll be a community member. We're gonna start a networking community, guys. If you guys want to join, we'll start up a Discord community, and we're gonna call it the Live Button Podcast Networking Community. Okay.
Anyone who follows us will follow you right back for the next 2 minutes. Okay, for the next 2 minutes. So hop on board, hit that subscribe button. We'll be right there, guys. Promise.
Listen, for those that haven't catch on to the sarcasm, that's 100% sarcasm. Okay, we're obviously not about that. But listen, I curse, and I'm very passionate about support, because I feel like so many people just waste their time on it, where they can spend their time actually, when people say grind, all right, they're not talking about grind on streaming. They're not talking about, let's go, I need to hit going live over and over again. No, people are talking about grinding, sitting behind your damn computer when there's no lights on, there's no camera on, and you're editing. All right. People are talking about grinding on improving your stream. People are talking about grinding on learning new skills to improve your content or your stream. That's what people are talking about when they say grinding. So it's just frustrating, because so many people or so many communities, that's what they talk about. They're just like another. I could talk about this stuff forever. Another red flag is just like this like overly positive. I guess for lack of a better term, like vibes. Just always being like, super supportive and but being very broad about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Streamers are like, oh, I can't grow, and this and that. It's like, oh man, you just keep grinding, keep going. Well, what am I grinding on? Like, did you give me any kind of value? Did you actually teach me anything? No, you're just telling me to go live and be in your stream all the time. That is not, you're not gaining anything out of that, okay? But other than supporting the streamer who may bless you with a raid. All right, are you getting anything from that? No. Yeah. Go spend your time and go learn some skills to improve your stream. Go learn some skills to improve your content, so that way you can grow. And the last bit that I'll kind of touch on, some people say, I've had this comment a couple times, and I've tweeted about it and I've made videos about it. Some people say, oh, in the beginning it's kind of necessary to join these communities. It's not necessary. Okay. One. Yes. I am proof of that. Okay. I did the follow for follow thing for like my first like 20 or 30 followers and figured out real quick. Oh, okay, this isn't it. Okay. Yep. And then I joined, it's probably a support community, but I joined a support community, and I probably stuck around to like, I don't know, maybe like 80 followers. And I was like, okay, this isn't it. Okay. And I hit the reset button and I moved on. Okay. Listen, you don't have to join any of these communities, all right? In order to make it into streaming, in order to have any kind of significant growth, you know what? Where I got all my growth from? You know where I got all my growth from? Was fucking making content, all right? I went out there and I learned and I perfected how to make good, I don't want to say perfected because I'm still learning, but I learned how to make good content. I went out there and I watched YouTube videos. I learned how to, make my camera look good. I learned how to make my lights, look good. I learned how to, make my microphone sound good. That's what I spent my time on. And I got my most engagement, the most followers, the most average viewership, everything from my content, not from any community that I've ever been a part of.
Yep. I get it, man. I get it. And I agree with you. I mean, I think the overarching theme of this entire thing, guys, is legitimately, both of us are open books. Both of us are going to tell you exactly how it is, exactly what we've seen. I've been in the scene for almost 4 years. Coming in March will be 4 years. Holy crap. Dad the Gamer has his fair share of battle scars as well from doing all this kind of stuff. And it's like, if you guys ask us, we're going to tell you. We're not going to sit on this podcast and just blow smoke. Like, this is exactly what we feel. This is exactly what we've seen. We've seen the trap. We've seen people jump into it. We've seen some people get out. And then we've also seen some people really stay in it. And the people that stay in this do not succeed. They do not go forward. They do not move. They are stuck in a stagnant pool of like this community that is never going to boost them up, never going to make them anything more than they currently are. Because at the end of the day, regardless of if you have a really healthy, awesome group of streamers around you that are going to, all grow together and everything's great, at the end of the day, it is just you. It is only you. You are the person who is streaming for you. You are the person who is editing your videos. You are the person that is creating your content. It all boils down to you, not some community that says they're going to do X, Y, or Z, or not some, number metric that doesn't matter. It all boils down to you. So I think that's going to be all for this particular episode, guys. So Dad the Gamer, is that going to be all we're doing?
That is all. I once again, I apologize for the more than vulgar language. For those that do follow me, I do curse quite a bit. I try to hold my cursing to a minimum for the podcast episodes, just in case there's an audience out there that doesn't like that kind of thing. But
I'm so wholesome,
I curse so much in this episode because it just infuriates me. It infuriates me that so many people just get wrapped up into this. So if you are in a support community, get help. All right.
Get some help.
There's no 1-800 number that I got for you, but just go talk to somebody who's gotten out of these, because it's possible. You could do it.
Yeah.
But other than that, listen, we appreciate the support, guys. Once again, if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, if you guys like the content, go on YouTube slash the Live Button Podcast, I think is our thing, right? Yeah.
We should know, but it's
we
probably,
should know. Yeah.
Just look up the Live Button Podcast on YouTube.
Live Button Podcast on YouTube. And if you guys are on YouTube, if you guys want to listen to us on the road, make sure you guys check us out on Apple or Spotify. And you guys can find myself twitch.tv/TheDadTheGamer. The 3 is, the E is a 3 at the end.
You get that wrong every time.
Every time. I'm sure everybody's like, do they know? Does he know words? Does he know how to speak? Do they stream? And then everything else is just Dad the Gamer. So what about yourself, Pastor?
Yeah. So you can find me at twitch.tv/Pastorgainz, and then every other social media, which is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. All is iampastorgainz, one word. So that is where you can find me. Feel free to shoot me a DM if you want me to follow you back, all that kind of stuff. You know how we do here, guys. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Until next time, we will talk to you then. Peace out, everybody.
Later, guys.